The Hardys win the NXT titles. The NXT men's team won in warfare against... the TNA men's team won warfare against the NXT team. The NXT women's team beat the TNA women's team. Mustafa Ali did not win the North American Championship.
You're covering the wrong show.
Uh-oh.
Yes, boy!
French toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
Fake. We can see that you don't have pants on.
Somebody hit somebody with a pie. Do something.
Giovanni yelling we're out of time as we go off the air.
Giovanni yelling a lot of things tonight.
And welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Mark It Down podcast. My name is Nick Cummings, joined this week on a Tuesday by James Asante, back here once again to review AEW Dynamite. That's the show we're covering today.
Whoa. You just said it was Tuesday, sir.
I know.
What wrestling is on Tuesday?
Apparently Dynamite, because there's playoffs and there's hockey, and Turner is currently swamped and really starting to press my patience because we have another 3-hour show next week.
Do we really?
Yep.
Bruh.
Playoffs.
Come on. Well, I actually don't know if it's playoffs. I think it might be because of the pay-per-view.
Oh, that's also
They're not running Collision on Saturday because the pay-per-view is going to be on Saturday.
And they won't run it on Friday like they normally do for the pay-per-views because they're trying to get everything in one block because, again, playoffs and hockey. But we're not here to discuss those things. We are here to discuss the rasslin. So let's jump straight into the main event of the evening, which saw Orange Cassidy taking on Pac in the renewal of a rivalry that has been around since basically the beginning of AEW. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, this is their fifth matchup together. And as is tradition, it was great. The only thing that was kind of weird is Pac looks different. He's got new gear. He's got the haircut.
Let me say, I got to get used to the haircut. I love the gear.
Gear was cool.
That feels like we always knew he was big. Obviously, he's always been built like ridiculously so.
Which is why he was always in full gear.
Yeah, always. They named a pay-per-view after. But this new gear really accentuates how big he looks. And I have my issues with this match. We're going to talk about it. I thought it was a great match, but I have some issues with just it. But he looked great. He looked gigantic next to Orange in that gear, making him look even bigger. That is main eventer gear. That gear made me think this guy could win a title again.
Hopefully he does. I love Pac. But I will jump to the end of the match where after he was able to hit a diving DDT onto the floor, Cassidy then followed that up by hitting Pac with an orange punch, and that just laid him out onto the timekeeper's table. Reminder, they were in Jacksonville tonight, so different setup in Daly's place, a little bit tighter, probably even tighter than it was back in the pandemic so they get more people in. So timekeeper's table was right at ringside. There wasn't even a barrier covering it. And that allowed not only for Pac to basically take a quick nap on there, but for Orange to go up to the top rope, put his hands in his pockets, and just dive off of there through Pac through the table. Yep. Orange then got Pac back in the ring very quickly, hit him with a tilt-a-whirl DDT, and then another orange punch, and went for the pinfall. However, Pac was barely able to get his foot onto the rope when Cassidy got the pin. Orange then went back up to the top rope in an attempt to follow up, but Pac borrowed a page from Orange's playbook and just slowly rolled to the other side of the ring. And then out of the ring, because, again, Daly's place, the ramp was level with the ring, so he rolled up the ramp, and Orange, unfortunately, had to give chase. Pac went up through the crowd on the stage and up to the top of the riser, where he revealed that he was really just playing possum, hit Orange with a huge right hand, and then hit him with a tombstone pile driver on the top of the riser. He then just kicked Orange down the stairs and sent referee, I believe it was Bryce Remsburg, back to the ring to begin the count. But when Pac went to go back down the stairs, he realized he couldn't move, and it was revealed that Darby Allin had snuck in behind the riser and handcuffed his leg to the riser itself. So Orange was able to stumble down the stairs and get into the ring. And as he was doing that, Pac eventually was able to get himself free of the cuffs. Mind you, these were like those handcuffs with a really long, thin chain. So it's a little more breakable than your standard cuffs. Don't ask me why I know that. And Pac was barely able to rush down the stairs up onto the ramp and dive headfirst into the ring, doing a barrel roll to getting in there. But when he did so, Orange was immediately on top of him, got the Cazadora, got the roll up, crossed the legs, 1, 2, 3, and Orange Cassidy pins Pac kind of clean. So,
kind of doing a lot of work there.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean. Anyway, James, apparently you just said you have some problems with this match. I had fun with it. It's always great to see these two guys mix it up just because of their history, and they've still been able to keep it fresh while, no pun intended, with freshly squeezed there, but which is what I just said in the first place, as we get our nightly or weekly cat appearance. But they're always able to keep it fresh, and but while still keeping the heart of their rivalry. And I thought they did a great job of that tonight, and I had fun, but apparently you feel differently, and I would very like to know why.
So I think they put on a fun match. I think they put on a really good match. I think Orange looked really good, and I think Pac looked really dominant. I don't know why this was the match that was booked. Pac, as Bryan Danielson pointed out on commentary, his commentary all night kind of pointed out, Pac has not wrestled in 181 days. He's coming back with a new look, completely new look, new hair, new gear, new everything. He needed a win here. He needed to look dominant and be dominant. And we could say anything we want to say. It was Darby Allin who helped cost him. We could say it was a roll-up after breaking the 9 count. We could say a lot of things. Pac should have won his return match, in my opinion. He is part of the dominant heel group in the company. And he's not Wheeler Yuta. He's not Daniel Garcia. He needs to be on the same level as Moxley and Claudio, as somebody who can and will get the big wins. That way, when he is pinned, that way, when he loses, there he is.
Good evening,
always
Matt.
late. Always late. So when he loses, it's a big deal. So to have him lose his big return match to a guy he's already lost to, he just feels like he's right back where he was before he left. So I have a lot of issues with the principle of what this match was. I have a lot of issues with the booking decision. Orange is another guy who I'm glad he got the win because he's been gone too. So he needs to reestablish himself at the top of the pecking order. Hey, Eric, we talked about it during the cold open. You should go back to the beginning and go check it out.
Wait, till the show where we're covering NXT.
That too.
Are we not doing it at the same time?
No.
I didn't watch it, so I know the updates, but
I know what happened, but I don't know, I can't properly cover it.
I think for those of you who would like some stuff, we are considering trying to maybe do something tomorrow, considering Dynamite was tonight. This way we could still cover it, but we don't have to overexert ourselves and be up till 6 o'clock in the morning.
Well, thank you. But yeah, I thought the match was good. Orange looked really strong. Orange looked really like he's found his footing again. Not that it seemed like he ever lost it, but the same way Pac sort of feels like he's right back where he was before he left, we're getting Orange there too, but in the more positive way.
Yeah. And I think it was good, though, that Orange got a win tonight. I know he got a win in his first match back in that trios match a couple of weeks ago, but he did lose to Fletcher last week. And even though it was a title match, he did take that L. But now he comes in and he does get a very big win, although, as you mentioned, it is at the expense of Pac. So a little give and take there. But I think mostly the reason this was booked is that Tony wanted a classic AEW matchup on the card, and this was the best he could probably give us.
Yeah.
You know, one of AEW's longest and most storied rivalries, even though it's half of it's a meme, but it's true. They've been wrestling ever since Revolution for the last 6 years. So I'm glad they did it. I know you don't love the situation that they put Pac in, but I was glad this ended up main eventing the show. Matt, first question, what are you eating? Because it looks delicious.
It was ice cream.
Lucky you. I haven't had ice cream in a while. And second of all, how'd you feel about the main event here at Dynamite this evening?
Yeah, it was a good match. Sorry, I'm still getting over a cough for like 3 weeks now. It's these allergies, man. They're killing me.
It's the ice cream.
All right, wait, hold on. Matt, I need 1 second. I'm so sorry. I got to tell you people what this deranged son of a bitch did to me. So Matt was very gracious this week, or last week, and he invited me to be his guest to the Kelly Clarkson show.
And we were VIPs!
Where The Rock was the special guest promoting the Smashing Machine. So
Which bombed!
Matt and I had a great time. We enjoyed the show. We were waiting. We got there a little bit early. We got there in the waiting room, enjoying all the amenities that we can. Really well presented by Kelly and her team. And then we get into the audience, and not 2 minutes before the show starts, before Kelly Clarkson's coming out, before The Rock and Emily Blunt are coming out, he turns to me and he goes, "Man, I really hope we don't get COVID." And then just proceeds to just go back to waiting for the show. I'm not going to have a paranoid OCD fit. Panicking about the possibility of getting COVID.
That never crossed your mind? I mean,
but why would I want to think about that? Hey, everybody, right before the stars of this big movie are coming out, put on big smiles. Man, I really hope we don't get COVID. There's a lot of people here. And we're back. What's wrong? What?
It's not like I have any control over whether we get COVID or not.
But you have control
You don't jinx it.
Exactly. You don't jinx it.
I'll believe in that.
You don't say it right then and there. You say it after. It's like, oh man, that was a big room.
I knocked on wood too, so.
It's insanity.
Anyway, good match. I don't mind that Pac lost because it was because of Darby's interference. And they really want to drive that fact home that Darby is hell-bent on getting his hands on the Death Riders, more specifically Mox, but basically anyone associated with Mox. And then, do we want to go in what happened after the match with the lighter?
Get there. Yeah, we'll get there in a second. I was just gonna let you, say what your piece about the match.
All right. Can I start with that part then, or no?
Well,
I'll
run
let you
it
do
down real quick.
Okay, that's all I want to say about the match then.
Okay, we'll head to the post match where.
Oh, the table spot was great. Love the table spot.
Yes, table spot was indeed great. But
and Pac's new gear, it's not as flattering, but it's not terrible, and I'm cool with it for now. Do something different. All right, now go.
I think it is super flatter. That man looks like the Incredible Hulk wearing Bruce Banner's clothes. It looks awesome. He looks like a giant, daddy. Real jacked.
Two things. One, technically isn't the Hulk usually wearing Banner's clothes? Because
Not always.
Usually.
Professor Hulk. He goes shopping at Big and Tall.
This is true. Second of all, I think that the top does it for him. The pants were a little baggier, so unless his quads and his calves and his thighs are just that big, but definitely his upper body is looking real jacked, baby. All right. After the match, Orange, after getting the pinfall win, quickly retreated up and out of the ramp while Darby just went sprinting past him with a backpack, and you could tell Darby was just looking for a fight. He kind of found a spot. He went across the stage and went over towards the announce desk, kind of hunkered down there as the Death Riders start coming out. Wheeler Yuta decides to go after him first. And this poor sacrificial lamb gets, I believe he got bear maced in the face or pepper spray or something. And to the point where Darby got some of it in his eyes. I think the announce desk got a little bit in their eyes because they had to retreat because they were all coughing. And then as more Death Riders came out, Darby then pulled the next thing out of his bag, which was a taser, and he starts brandishing it, and you can hear the crackle. And all the Death Riders are like, yeah, no, I'm not going after him, except Moxley, who's like, I'm still going to kill him, weapons be damned. So Marina, Danny Garcia, and Claudio are all holding Moxley back, and Moxley is just trying to fight through them and a couple of security guys to get to Darby. Darby at this point had retreated all the way up into that ramp that they have in Daly's place next to the stage, kind of like where FTR drove in and stuff like that.
The driveway.
Yeah, the driveway. Yeah, good thing to call it. And Darby's up there at the top, and as Moxley is continuing to try to fight his way up there, Darby reveals his final party trick, which is a friggin' Molotov cocktail. And he's just waving it around. He goes to try to light it. The Death Riders are freaking out trying to keep Moxley from him. And then a security guard, who apparently, according to SRS, is his man security, Sam, comes running over and just blindsides tackle Darby to the floor. The glass breaks. A bunch more security guards jump on top of him like it's the Monstars on top of Stan at the end of Space Jam. Hey, Maria.
Hey, Maria.
And a bunch more flood out to keep Moxley from getting over there and killing Darby. And we go up the air with Darby being dragged out by security as he's continuing to try to go after Moxley. This was, Matt, in a word, insane, but it's really amping up the stakes for this I Quit match in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, like, I thought it was a little silly, but not ridiculously silly, like when, like, Billy Gunn didn't get his, like, finger chopped off by Swerve or something like that, like, something ridiculous. This, I like the idea. It seems like they used real bear mace, which I don't think was necessary. Either that or everyone's just a really good actor, because everyone seemed to be coughing.
Yeah, it might have just been regular pepper spray and not bear mace. Bear mace can really take you down. Pepper spray you can kind of fight through.
Regardless, just like have a random spray, and then the announce team goes, "Oh my God, he's got mace!" Like it's pretty easy. I don't think you have to actually use it and potentially, that becomes an issue with the crowd right there, and it seems like an unnecessary risk liability, in my opinion.
You're right. That it was probably a prop,
and
they sold it.
Well, who knows? The lighter at the end, like I was just like, oh, who's that dressed up as a security guard? Because it was just like one dude who just murked Darby Allin, and then he's on top of Darby Allin by himself.
Yeah, I didn't I didn't like that at all.
That's what I'm getting at. It's like you've never seen such a competent security guard in your entire life in wrestling, except for Hank in NXT. Like,
great.
And even Hank took him a while to get his footing. But so I didn't like that it just basically was one security guard that was in a completely believable situation that made Darby look like a wimp. Like no one security guard should ever be able to take out a wrestler, let alone hold him down. Like, okay, you get them by surprise, fine. But then Darby should have immediately punched him and then immediately ran after Jon Moxley. So I didn't like that. I feel like they do weird things with the security in AEW. They're very visible all the time. And I'm like, I don't want to see these guys. Like, obviously they're necessary, but I don't want to know their names. I don't want to know their backstory. I don't want them to have signings. Like, that was really they're not here to be characters. They're here to do the job of, protecting both the fans and the wrestlers. You know what I mean? Like they're not supposed to be these visible heroes.
I'm going to disagree with all of that. If you're done, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go for it.
I like the fact that we actually have a competent security guard. My man, you can tell anytime somebody runs on a field in the NFL or the baseball, whatever it is, and you see the one security guard who very clearly didn't make it in football, that was the security guard, because that was a perfect form tackle from Security Sam over here. And then, unless I'm mistaken, multiple guys jumped on Darby right after him.
It took a while. It took a while.
Did it take that long?
Yeah, no.
Yes.
So I'm sort of in the middle of the two of you because I agree with Rev. I like seeing that the security is competent, but I agree with Matt as well. I did not mind the fucking spear, the gore that the security guard hit on Darby. I thought it was a unfortunately funny visual at Darby's expense, but you know what? He got him from behind or from the side, so that's fine. But Matt's right. Once he put him down, Darby should have then overpowered him or overcome him in some way. Because what I saw was one security guard do something that in the history of security guards in professional wrestling have not been able to accomplish. So I'm not thinking to myself, this is a great security guard. I'm thinking to myself, Darby couldn't do what every wrestler who's ever had to deal with a security guard was unable to accomplish that.
Unless this guy is the next Hank. I don't know. Probably not. Beautiful spear regardless. But yeah, I'm with James. Darby should have immediately been like, okay, overpowered him. Boom. Done.
And even if they still just needed Darby at bay, they needed to throw more security guards on him immediately. Like, they should have dogpiled him. Because
they did.
Eventually they all immediately went to the Death Riders. They all immediately went to the Death Riders to stop him, where the one security guard was the only one on top of Darby for several shots, several frames. It's just him. So, I'm with the vision of this one guy making the save, but you needed follow through from the rest of the team. But
I will go with James on this one. I think he's the best of both worlds here. The man in the middle.
I don't want to dwell on it too much because it was still a fun idea of what we should expect as they're building towards this I Quit match. Molotov cocktails, tasers, mace. These are things that you do not normally see even in the most gruesome of wrestling feuds. So they are really, it's reminding me of Jon Moxley, formerly known as Dean Ambrose, preparing for his war against Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar!
That went nowhere.
What was that, Rev?
I said that went nowhere.
Exactly. But Darby Allin and Jon Moxley, I don't think are going to repeat history. I think we're going to see a very gruesome weapons-heavy match.
I wouldn't mind if Mox actually alluded to that. I don't usually like it when they reference WWE, but if you think this is going to be like some walk in the park, like that match I had in Texas, don't do it like that. I'm just saying off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But, it's like this is going to be the real deal, so you don't want to miss it.
Yeah. I have all due respect to Darby. I don't think he's fucking off the UFC anytime soon, so I think it'll be a lot better. But hey, shout out to him going full Jason Mendoza in Jacksonville.
Bortles!
All right. That's that. I loved the end. So security guards or not, I thought it was great and making me excited for this match for the reasons you said, James. They are escalating at a rate that I did not know possible. I thought we had the most violent stuff we were ever going to get when Hangman stuck a syringe through Swerve's cheek. Nope, it's going to get better, and I am looking forward to it. All right, let's head back all the way up to the top of the show. Speaking of Hangman Page, he had his face-off with Samoa Joe before their match for the AEW Men's World Championship at Wrestle Dream. So you had Tony Schiavone in the ring, introduced both men. Joe came out with both Powerhouse Hobbs and Kazuchika Shibata. Glad to see him back. As Matt fixes his camera there. I'll bring you back when you come back on the camera, Matt. But Joe ended up handing his Trios Championship to Hobbs before having them both go to the back. Schiavone then intros both men, and he hands off the mic to Hangman to start things off. Page starts by saying in his 6 years of Dynamite, and lists off some of his best moments, including committing arson, coming out as a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and possibly being proposed to.
I love that I know exactly what this was, too.
It took me a minute, and then I saw Alex Reynolds tweet the GIF, and I was like, oh, yeah. Anyway, in 6 years of all that insanity, he says he's never been confused as he was last week when, after he offered to team with Joe and Hobbs to defeat the Death Riders and Page won the match for them, Joe then went on a tirade and eventually sucker punched Hangman, much like he said last week.
Yeah.
And Page said he was confused until Joe brought up the fact that Hangman had never beaten him, and because of that, Joe is angry that he no longer has the title while Page does. But Hangman says he didn't give Joe this opportunity because he kicked and screamed. He said it was because Joe and the Ops put their bodies on the line to help Hangman make it a fair fight when he won the AEW Men's World Championship. However, that is where Hangman's gratitude ends, because once that bell rings, he's not going to just give Joe the championship. He's going to make Joe earn it. Joe then responds, and I don't think Joe ever touched the microphone. I think he had Shivani hold it for him the entire time. Joe responds that everything Hangman just said is absolutely true. But his problem isn't the fact that the problem isn't the fact that when he looks at Hangman that he isn't the champ. It's when he looks at Hangman, he sees a pretender instead of the pinnacle of professional wrestling. Because if it wasn't for the Ops, Hangman wouldn't be champ right now. And Joe is surprised that his anger didn't happen sooner, but he was so bloodlusted by the Death Riders that he lost sight of the main prize. And now Hangman comes out with this fake gratitude when really it's just Joe taking what he is owed. So Joe is going to beat Hangman and break him. And when it comes down to it, and Hangman needs to step up and be the man he says he is, Joe is going to choke him out. And that will allow Hangman to give people a rightful champion. Hangman comes back saying he doesn't understand why tough guys keep thinking their opinions of him matter, when the only thing that matters is what he shows when the bell rings. With his bad back and his neck, Hangman knows that Joe is going to just beat the ever-living hell out of him, but for every shot, Hangman says he will give back too. And at the end of it, when Joe is lying on his back and beaten, Hangman hopes Joe can get up, show the same passion for professional wrestling that he did it all in, shake Hangman's hand, and acknowledge him as the champion of the world. James, strong stuff from both of these guys here.
Yes, absolutely.
We're very quickly building this feud, obviously, and it was I think we talked about this last year. It was a little weird how they started it, but I think not only did this promo justify it, it really added a lot more, I'll say a lot of stakes and a lot of passion and energy to the match in just 2 weeks. Really just in 3 segments.
100%. They took a very flimsy concept and turned it into a believable grievance. We all love Joe. We all love Samoa Joe, and I would not have ever had a problem with him going for the title against Hangman. But I didn't love how it started last week. But now playing up this angle of Joe is frustrated that he's taken a back seat and he hasn't focused on the things that he should be he feels he should be focusing on. I think it's a fun way to go. And neither man needs to turn heel here. At the end of it, there should be a handshake between Hangman and Joe. Let's see if it happens.
Yeah. Even if Joe he does it and then he's just really mad and walks away, he at minimum has to shake Page's hand.
I think the only sort of little issue that I have here is that it seems that the Ops aren't all on board. I granted, and that could lead to fun drama and it could lead to them losing the trios title, but him coming out with Shibata and Hobbs and then them leaving right away, it almost feels like Joe is in charge of this group. And that made sense when he was with Hook.
Yeah.
But these guys are not guys that need to be led by Joe. Shibata does not need to be led by Joe. Hobbs does not need to be led by Joe. So I wish I want to see how this plays out, if they all turn heel, if they all get aggressive, whatever that may, or this leads to a split. But I love the Ops. I know you love the Ops. I think
shirt.
yeah, you did. And quite frankly, I think the notion of them splitting kind of hurts everybody that isn't Joe. Like, Joe doesn't need the ops, but I think it's doing wonders for Hobbs, and I think it's doing wonders for Shibata.
Yeah, and it's kind of similar with Shibata. Like, he doesn't need the ops, but he's just really cool in them, and it gives him a vehicle to be able to talk through in Samoa Joe.
Exactly. And, like, he could go to the conglomeration or something, for sure.
Yeah.
But I prefer this. So I would be upset to see them break up, but what can you do? Well, let's let it play out. This all might just be, I needed a shot. I went and took my shot. I missed my shot. Back at it. You know, that's very well how it could go.
Yeah, and I think to your point, you could see Hobbs last week. He's very like, what the hell, because they've been allies with Hangman, and Hangman's been their ally. So I think he maybe it's that he's not on board, but he was definitely a little confused by it. And we haven't really, unless there's something happened on Collision that I unfortunately didn't get to see, he seems a little uneasy about it, to say the least. And Shibata just got back, so we don't really know how he's feeling all about it. But I'm hoping, like you said, like, they can kind of let bygones be bygones after Joe gets his shot and doesn't get it. Because I really hope they don't break up for all the reasons you said. And just, again, because they're really fucking cool. But it was interesting that they got sent to the back. I thought it even more interesting that Joe gave them his Trios championship to take to the back as well. He did not carry that with him to the ring, which felt a little telling. So hopefully it's just him trying to focus on the one thing, and then we have this mini feud ends at Wrestle Dream, and we can, even if they don't interact anymore, Hangman and the Ops, hopefully everyone could be copacetic and the Ops can continue to move on and just dominate and be cool.
I'm all for that. I am all for that.
Some comments.
Yep, there you go.
We're on the same page. Maria calling this a great promo. I thought it was as well. You know it in the building. What's going on, man? Just starting the show without you. Sorry. The timing's all weird, dude. We're on Tuesday at 11. So next week we're going to be back on Wednesday, but it's going to be at like midnight for all I fucking know, probably 11:30. Yeah. So we're all over the place. I'm not going to tell anyone to turn their noties on. They can get annoying, but you got to keep an eye out. Fernando also in the building tonight. Loved Dynamite. Fernando agreeing with you, James, as well. The beginning of the story started out a little clunky. And, yeah, I would agree. But, again, I thought they did a great job of really, even in the segments following last week when Joe kind of started the tiff and then Hangman was backstage, like, what the fuck is wrong with Joe? I thought, like, starting with that interview with Renee and then Joe's interview with Renee after last week, it really kind of got the train back on the tracks. And then they were able to full steam ahead here this evening. How does Phone feel about it? I don't know how Phone feels about it. Phone isn't even on his phone right now, so we'll see if and when he comes back. All right, after this, we went backstage for a quick interview with the conglomeration, and it was quite the conglomeration reunion. Damn near everyone was there. And before Alicia can even ask a question, Mark Briscoe just immediately jumps in, giving the word of the day, which I don't even know what it was. It might have been diversification, but he might have said something completely different because apparently Mark Briscoe is a better vocabulary than I do.
It's hard to understand the Tasmanian Devil all the time, you know?
This is true. Anyway, he then runs down everyone's matches in the conglomeration. He starts with Willow and her teaming up with Jet Speed on Collision. You got Kyle versus Kyle too. And Kyle would like you to chant for Kyle because Kyle hates other Kyle. So if he hears you chanting for Kyle, then Kyle's going to get mad.
Yep.
That's a real thing now, right? Like
as one does, yeah.
Yep. Orange facing Pac in the renewal of one of AEW's oldest rivalries. And you had Big Tomo facing off against Jon Moxley. And then Briscoe went insane. Kyle started, I must kill Kyle. And then Orange said something to Alicia, and I didn't catch what it was, and almost said it.
Yeah, I tried catching it too. It was very, very low. But I would love to see him develop a relationship with her the way he has with Renee.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get there.
Orange is just cool with everybody, you know.
How
I
could
don't
you
think
not
I've seen him ever be mad at any of the one time he got mad at any announcer. He wasn't even mad at the announcers. It was right after Wheeler.
I know. Use the seatbelt pin.
Yeah, turn on them and went to the Death Riders, used a seatbelt, and he got mad.
Yeah.
But Maria called Mark the top 5 best talkers in AEW, which yes, but at the same time, no, because he is one of the best. I think he's one of the top 5 promos in AEW. I think you can argue that. But talker, the guy sounds like he has marbles in his mouth. So I'm going to be really nitpicky about the word talker, but I understand where you're coming from. Oh, is that what he said? Declarification? Can I put? No, I can't use it in a sentence. That's barely even in a sentence. Hey, man, just give me a heads up when you want to come back and I'll let you in, all right? I can see you back there. Live producing, everybody.
And we can't hear you, so you have to like give a thumbs up.
Yeah. All right. So whenever you want to get back in.
Oh, he's good. He's good.
All right. Matt is back. All right. As we move on to I think this was our dude. Yes, our first match of the evening, which saw Jon Moxley face off against Tomohiro Ishii. God, Mox loves fighting this guy. Anyway, after a stalling pile driver from Moxley, Ishii somehow just shot back up and then kind of stumbled a bit, and he hit a curb stomp and then somehow kicked out of that. The two men then exchanged some strikes, and Ishii hit his sliding lariat after he had knocked Moxley down and immediately went into a choke, which Moxley escaped by biting on his arm and then kind of wriggling his way out. Moxley then hit a quick German suplex and ducked a wild right hand from Ishii, followed that up with a paradigm shift, and Ishii kicked out again. So Moxley quickly transitioned into a rear naked hook choke and forced a referee stoppage as Ishii passes out. So this was a good old-fashioned slobber knocker there, James. Ishii's nose was bleeding, which I think actually kind of helped add to the match and the violence of it. Or not even the violence of it, but just how hard hitting it was. So I love watching these two guys wrestle. As I said, I think Moxley just loves wrestling Ishii because he knows he can get stiff. And they just went out and had a good time, and so did I.
No, I agree. I want Matt to go first. He missed the last couple. Oh, never mind. Fuck all that. The Yankees win. Going to the game tomorrow, boys.
Oh, God. Is it going to be like the World Series for you last year?
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. I've already predicted it. Pain, suffering, but you know what? At least I'm there.
And wasted money, but James has got enough for everybody.
Season tickets, bitch. Part of the package.
I mean, you have to pay for the playoff season.
Yeah, I was about to say, even I know that.
Joke's on you. I ain't paying for them. They ain't my tickets. I just get to go and eat ice cream.
That's true. Hi, Papa G.
All right, go ahead, Matt.
I didn't watch the match, so did Mox bleed?
I immediate regret everything.
Mox did not bleed, but Ishii did. Like I said, he busted his nose open.
I heard that part. All right, James, what did you think of the match?
I thought the match was good. I thought the match was fine. It's everything you expect from an Ishii match, an Ishii match with Moxley. I wish Ishii was used better because I inherently know now at this point, if he's in a match, he's going to lose.
If he's in a singles match, he's going to lose.
Yeah, if he's in a singles match, he's going to lose.
Unless it's to a jobber, but they don't give him jobbers. They should give him some jobbers.
No, I agree. He needs to have a little bit of a run where he just beats some lower card people. That way I could at least buy him being in the position he's in. He had this matchup because we all know, legit, Moxley loves wrestling the Japanese guys. And Ishii is a tried and true professional. He's one of the best. I don't know if it's still true, but up until somewhat recently, if you did like the math on his like average for his ratings on matches, it was higher than Okada.
Like on a cage match or Meltzer?
I think it might have been both. It might have been both.
I do remember seeing that somewhere though.
It's just because he's that consistently great. So
have they had a match in AEW before, or was that Minoru Suzuki that I'm thinking of? Because I know Mox definitely had Suzuki. They have?
Yeah, they've definitely wrestled in AEW before.
If I'm not mistaken, this is their third AEW match. Moxley is now 3-0.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And,
See, I figured it was their second, but
and I'm fine with Mox being 3-0 against Ishii. That's fine. I don't like that I have to kind of pretend and allow myself to think there's even a 2% chance Ishii's going to win this match, considering he doesn't win singles matches against anybody. That's sort of where I have the issue. But again, the match was well done. Mox looked dominant. He needs to. He needs to going into this match against Darby. He needs to with where everything is. But the Death Riders are in a very interesting place right now where they feel both very dominant and also very ineffectual at the same time. And I need a direction for them. And I need, I don't know, I need something. Because right now we're just sort of in a holding pattern of he's been feuding with Darby for what feels like 17 years. And the Death Riders are essentially just goons right now.
yeah, they don't have the trios titles anymore.
Yeah.
Not that they put them to all that good use.
Yeah,
It was hit or miss.
And that's actually what I was going to say. Sorry to cut you off, James.
No,
If Moxley has direction, the group has no direction other than
maybe
back
Garcia.
Moxley up.
Maybe Garcia.
I was going to say maybe Garcia as well.
But
just because he's the freshest one.
Yeah, and maybe Pac. What Rev?
I think there's a tinge of Wheeler starting to bubble up, which we'll talk about later.
I hope so. If he gets another 5-star match like that, he's off to the races. But that's easier said than done.
I will always root for Yuta, but I'm now doing more of a golf clap than I am fist pump. But
fair.
Yeah, no, the match was fine.
Yeah, I liked it, and same kind of similar to the main event. A very old school feeling match in Daly's place. An AEW original against a New Japan guy. So I thought that was pretty cool. And for Ishii, at least in AEW, I wish they would let him defend the belt every once in a while to give him some wins.
Yeah,
but
no, I completely agree. No idea why they don't do it.
What title does he hold? I don't even know.
The New Japan Strong title.
Oh, still,
I thought he had the
okay,
never
cool.
open weight again. He's a strong.
Oh,
title.
Is it never open weight?
I don't know. I just saw he had a belt.
We're so knowledgeable here at the Market Down podcast, everybody.
In my defense, he has held the never open weight championship more than anybody ever.
So, all right, Rev, get ready for a Predator, you son of a bitch, hand clap right now. It is the strong open weight championship.
I knew I heard open weight.
And I knew it was strong too. So we're both right. And
we'll take 50% credit. We're each 50% right, which means the pod was 100% right. There you go.
I'll take all the credit. Don't even worry.
There you go.
You're quite knowledgeable here, Matt.
Mr. I didn't even know he had a belt.
This is why I'm here.
All right.
But yeah, it was
gotta make us look good.
Absolutely.
And we're going to move on. All right. After this, we went backstage through an interview with the Young Bucks. Renee was back there trying to get a word with them, but they were busy trying to get a word with Tony Khan as Nick was banging on his door. Renee's like, what are you guys doing? And Nick tells her they don't have time right now as he's trying to get Tony to put him in another money match because he is desperate. Renee then says, it's like, I know you guys are hard-pressed. But she asked them if they should be focused on Jurassic Express. It said, since they have now targeted the Bucks. Matt says, he's like, yeah, we know they have a match tonight. I got us a couple of tickets so we can go watch. Nick's like, how can you afford that? Matt's like he parted with a few of our sneakers, but it's fine. It's fine. Renee, thank you. You can go now. And then Nick goes back to banging on Tony's door, begging for money.
I think the only thing that would have made this segment better is if you find out Tony wasn't even in his office and he just walks by, sees them, and just like avoids them and walks away.
He's in the background, kind of.
Yeah. Just a subtle little, oh fuck, I ain't dealing with that. I'm getting out of here. That would have been good, but it was still good. I love it. I think this is the most entertaining I've found the Bucks in years.
Yeah, maybe since the run where Kenny had the title.
Yeah.
Probably around there.
Yeah.
I mean, the writing's just been really good. It's been very funny each week. They find new things to do each week to keep it fresh and funny.
It's reminding me of Bad Luck Corbin or whatever it was. Like, yeah. And that was a gimmick that I thought WWE did not take nearly as far as they should have.
Oh, definitely. Corbin himself said that.
Yeah, and I think the Bucks really have an opportunity to do some fun stuff here. I'm still riding high that I knew that money was not going to last. Like, I remember, Rev, when they won it, they were like, oh, they're back, like they're back. Like, this storyline is pretty much over, I guess. And I'm like, that's not a lot of money anymore.
Yeah. Oh, no, I said, I think you wanted them to lose it like the next night. And I was like, nah, give it a couple of weeks. And it took them 3 weeks, and Nick blew all the money on slots.
It's beautiful, man. It is beautiful.
You know it in the comments really quick saying Pac's haircut looks like he's the goat guy from Narnia. He just needs some pointy ears. I believe you're referring to Mr. Thomas. God, I can't believe I remembered his name. Who I think is Patrick McAvoy.
James McAvoy.
It is.
James McAvoy.
Patrick
McAvoy. Sorry, it's hockey season. Pretty sure Patrick McAvoy plays.
Get your head in the game.
It's in the game. It's just in a different game.
We're mentioning so many people that we might see this weekend at Comic-Con. Very exciting.
Very true. Very true.
I didn't know that was this weekend. You guys have fun.
Orange Cassidy, James McAvoy. We got tons.
Your cousin invited me, Rev, to Bound for Glory this weekend, and I'm like, I can't. I'll be at fucking Comic-Con. I'm sorry.
You invited me too. I was like, I'm not going on a Sunday. Shout out Scutch, but I got work. Yeah. Also, it's Charlie McAvoy plays for the Bruins. Moving on. After commercial, we came back for a cool video package with Chris Statlander against Timeless Tony Storm. They threw out a lot of cool stats about each woman and how not only tenured, but how good they've been in AEW, how successful they've been in AEW, and a lot about their time at the top of the division. And then quickly after that, we got a brief recap of their face-to-face on Collision, which ended in them trying to have a hockey fight that they agreed to, but then the Triangle of Madness came down and jumped both of them, and that is leading to a match between Statlander, Storm, and Harley Cameron facing off against Triangle of Madness on Collision.
Can you agree with me?
I could try.
There is no reason to care about Statlander and Willow getting back together anymore. They have done everything they can. Go ahead.
I care, but right now it's not relevant to anything either of them are doing.
I care in spite of what the story is. I care because of the performers.
Yeah.
But they have done everything they can to dissolve any interest. It's taken far too long. They're both doing too many interesting things for me to care.
I lost track, honestly, with the two of them. And I know I'm guilty. I've kind of been a little out of it lately, but I did really like that video package. And the one thing I think that AEW does so well and does so much better than WWE, and to give WWE some credit, they've been doing better with this recently, is hyping up stars, talking about stats, and making everyone look good on paper, whether you know someone's going to win a match or not. Yeah. So this was really cool, and I dug it. And again, I think it's one of the things that WWE has stepped up recently themselves. Like when Balor and Priest were having their rivalry, they're like, this is the 7th match they've had. I think they were like 3-3 apiece at that point. Yeah. So, and that's something WWE never really does, like past, a 3-match rivalry.
Yeah. And I would imagine part of that is the TKO influence with them also, being MMA people.
Nope, I'm giving all the credit to AEW.
No, I was just talking about WWE. I also imagine it's a bit of an ESPN influence as well, obviously, because ESPN, first of all, ESPN is now showing Raw highlights on SportsCenter, which really threw me off last night after Monday Night Football. Yeah, but I do think because ESPN cares about that and they can use the statistics to sell it more, WWE would probably be putting that more into their product as well, which I very much enjoy. And as you mentioned, Matt, is something AEW has always done and something I have always liked from them. Maria agreeing with you, James. She's lost track of the Willow Chris story as well. And it's just, it'll come back around, but right now the only thread really keeping them together is Harley. And I don't really know where any of that's going because she's friends with everyone. So
I imagine, I just want to go before James. I imagine maybe somewhere down the line, maybe with the women's tag titles. Like I imagine what if they've announced anything for that yet, it would be Statlander and Harley Cameron being in that tournament. But eventually down the line, I would imagine that Statlander and Willow would team up again to try and win those titles.
And that's the thing. Inherently, Willow and Stat should be the inaugural champions. They should be. But they are making it so hard to even get there. And granted, Harley, like they joked, Mercedes joked about it last week. Harley could literally team with anybody on the roster at this point because she's trying to, and she's got so many different relationships with so many different people. But for Stat and Willow to do this, Stat needs to lose the women's title before getting into the tournament. It just seems like a lot.
Yeah.
So I think at this point we kind of need heels to be the inaugural champion. I think pretty much every AEW title, save for the world title, had an inaugural babyface.
I'm trying to think now. I guess Jade was kind of baby. She was like right in the middle, you know?
Yeah.
No, she was a heel. She had the baddies. She was
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I think we're due for them to be heels at this point. Like put it on Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne.
I don't hate
That's
that.
not bad.
Yeah, make Stat and Willow chase after it.
I would honestly, I wish they put it on Triangle of Madness and either A, let them freeboard it, or B, give Tekla a singles title and just let the three of them have.
I'm still just not sold on Tekla.
Oh,
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet, though I do regret not going to her art show like 6 months ago. Just scheduling conflict, nothing personal. Tekla, if you're listening.
I think she's awesome. So
I don't have anything against her. I just haven't like bought in yet. You know, I don't have any stock in her yet.
I wouldn't mind Triangle of Madness winning the women's tag titles, but I would honestly go with Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne, like over them, to be honest.
yeah, and I can see that happening. They're pushing Bayne and Ford a bit with FTR, which we'll talk about later. So
They're also doing some great stuff on social media. Megan Bayne carrying Penelope Ford around like a backpack.
Yeah,
It's
funny.
pretty entertaining. I want to see what else they can do with it.
yeah, well, Megan Bayne's great. We all love her here, beating her a few times at House of Glory. So
Especially your cousin.
All right, let's move things on. Next
The
up,
goddamn disrespect. Jesus.
Why?
we had the Hurt Syndicate face off against the Demand, which is Ricochet and GOA, in a street fight. Now, I will say I was initially disappointed. I thought this was going to be in the parking lot. It was in the ring, but it was still great.
It was chaotic.
Yes,
It was
Yep.
chaotic.
it was chaotic. It was very, very chaotic. Well, we'll get into it. As the Hurt Syndicate came out in their suits, which I thought was really funny.
I
and just
loved
took
it.
the jackets off, took the ties off, like unbuttoned the shirts. With their hands
It was
were
pretty
taped up.
comical.
I love that. As we went into commercial, I'm just going to go over some good spots here. Ricochet did a sick tope con hilo off the stage, just diving into everybody, take them all out. We had Bobby Lashley get taken out when he was trying to spear Leona, and instead he got winged in the head with a chair by Bishop Kaun, and then he got put through 2 tables. MVP got taken out for a bit when he got speared through the barricade by Kaun. And then they were going after Shelton, and Ricochet hit an SSP on him on a table, but I am the table, and it didn't break. It did eventually, but that looked like it hurt.
Yep.
All of that then led to Shelton starting to make a comeback for the Hurt Syndicate. And eventually, Bobby Lashley was able to cover. He gets back in the ring. He starts dishing out spears. He hits Ricochet. He hits Liona. He hits Kaun. And then he hits Liona and then follows Liona to the outside and puts him through a table. And then with Kaun out because of the spear and Liona out because of the table, Bobby hops back in the ring. And this puts Ricochet in a 3-on-1 situation where the Hurt Syndicate pretends to let him leave, and then they don't when MVP just cross chops him in the throat. Bobby hit a massive chokeslam, And then my man, Shelton Benjamin, just ragdolls Ricochet with a German suplex through a table in the corner, and then he pins him to pick up the win. So, Matt, as James said, this was chaotic to the point where I don't want to say it felt clunky, but it was almost difficult to follow because there were so many things going on at once.
Yeah, 6 men. It's not easy.
Yeah, but because it was so chaotic, because so many things were happening, there was always action in the match, and there was always something going on, and it just led to a match that was very fun and pretty damn violent as well. And the right people won here with the Hurt Syndicate getting the win back.
Yeah, I mean, definitely evens them out. The crowd was into it. You know, we heard people. We heard those chants. Ricochet hiding behind the table in the corner was pretty funny at one point. You know, nothing not to enjoy about this. Yeah, a little clunky, but like, you know, it's a weapons match, so it doesn't have to be super clean finesse. It just has to be action packed, and you know, the end is the most important part. You know, did it have a good ending? And it's like, yes, it did.
Yeah, I thought James Shelton looked great in this match. They really built him up there with P and Bobby just completely taken out, and he's taking all this punishment and then starts dishing it out to allow the comeback to start.
Yeah, no, 100%. I thought all of the members of the Hurt Syndicate looked really good. I think they all had a moment to shine, more or less. Shelton kind of kept it going in the middle. Like, he was the one who persevered, allowing Bobby to come back and then be dominant with all those spears. So I thought that was really, really well done. I love Bobby being viewed as this massive threat that needs to be dealt with so they even have a chance of winning the match. I thought that was really, really well done. The finish was incredible. I love the knee into the spine. I love Bobby's spine buster. That one-armed spine buster that he does, it's very, very reminiscent of Ron Simmons. It's very reminiscent of Farouk, but he gets even more height than Ron ever got.
I wouldn't want to take it. That's like the number one move I would not want to take from Bobby Lashley.
It
is that what he gave to Ricochet at the end there, right before the finish? Okay, so I thought that was a chokeslam. That's a spine buster. So
his spine buster is very... if you want to call it a chokeslam, if you want to call it a spine buster, it's pretty much Joe Hendry's standing ovation.
Yeah, he just doesn't sit out with it.
And back in the day, he used to hit it as a spine buster that was just more sort of up and then down. Now he's like getting hang time on these.
Yeah, which is easy to do with Ricochet.
Exactly. And then that German suplex was... That finish was something you would see out of a WWE video game or just a wrestling video game where you just prop up the table perfectly. You do a drop move through the table and you get the win. That German suplex was amazing. And then Shelton getting the pin was perfect. I'm glad he got the pin and not Bobby.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be MVP.
Hey, I'm glad it wasn't MVP because MVP doesn't need it. He needs to be the guy who takes the pin. He does not need to be the guy who gets the pin. He's there to service Shelton and he's there to service Bobby. So he did his role perfectly in this matchup. I loved at the end, he grabs the suits. And unfortunately, we had to go to commercial, but he grabs the suits and he starts dressing his guys. I was like, he gets what he needs to be in this group.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was awesome. I love this. I think this was my favorite match of the night. And just very, very... I agree. I wish it was out in the parking lot. But I guess...
Or they start there, you know?
Yeah. But I guess I actually agree. If they started there and then they made their way to the ring, I think that would have been great. I guess they just wanted to make sure Jacksonville got to enjoy the match.
Yeah.
But... well done, all 6 men. Even in loss, I'm still very much rooting for the Demand. I would not be opposed to them weaseling their way into a trios title shot or winning the trios titles.
I think they'll get there because they were supposed to get that shot and Shibata got hurt. I don't remember if that was kayfabe or not, but they were going to get that shot, and I do think they eventually get it, and I hope they get the titles, not because I want the Ops to lose, but because putting titles on these three guys, led by Ricochet, is going to make them unbearable, and it's going to be great. So I hope they not only get the shot, I hope they win them, because I think those would be great for them. I don't like calling the titles props, but like it would work great for them in that regard.
I agree.
Just a couple comments. Maria called it a fun plunder match. A great way to put it.
Yeah.
Fernando saying it was great to see the Hurt Syndicate look dominant again, and something I very much agree with. Ron Simmons' Spinebuster was a little bit better.
It's snugger. It's way more snug. He got him up and put him down. That's how Ron did it. But it's the same basic setup for the move, in my opinion.
Hobbs got a good Spinebuster too, I think.
Hobbs' Spinebuster is way more like Triple H's Spinebuster.
Yeah.
Beyond just the rotation, the legs sort of wrap around a little bit. There's a little bit of that spin, and like Hobbs kind of drops himself into it too. Fun fact for everybody: my favorite wrestling move of all time is the Spinebuster. Like, it's not my favorite finishing move, obviously. Like, I have a different fit, but like my favorite regular wrestling move is the Spinebuster.
I'm gonna go Power Slam.
I get it. It's a good move. It's a good.
Uranagi for me.
Oh, Uranagi's good.
Uranagi's good too. Uranagi's good too.
Samoa Joe has both a great Uranagi and Power Slam.
Yeah.
Yep.
My guy.
Underrated Spinebuster goes to The Rock because it just gets overshadowed by the People's Elbow.
But yeah, he always set that up with the Spinebuster,
Yeah.
though, which is why I always thought he had a great one.
Underrated Uranagi goes to, I hate saying it, Rusev. Very underrated Uranagi.
Oh, he has that corner one, right? Yeah.
No. He just hits a regular old Uranagi, and because he's so fucking brick shithouse, it just looks rough whenever he does it.
Yeah.
And underrated Power Slam.
While you're thinking of that, Bray Wyatt had a good Uranagi as
He
well.
did.
Yeah, that's my favorite. It's literally him and Joe is different because it's in the corner, but Uranagi, my favorite was Bray Wyatt's for sure.
My favorite is Jay White. Jay White's Uranagi is fucking insane.
Oh, yeah.
He does like a full rotation. But regardless.
Good call from Fernando. Arn Anderson, great Spinebuster.
Of course. Come on.
Yeah. 100%.
It's not the best.
You know its favorite regular move is a right to the eyes. Says a lot.
Eric saying headlock. You know, we like the basics here. All right? We like to keep it simple.
I'm changing mine to the stink face.
But specifically Rikishi's stink face.
Not Rhea Ripley's. My boy.
Moving on.
The best power slams, really quick. Best power slams in no particular order are Golda, Samoa Joe, Randy Orton, and Powerhouse Hobbs actually snuck into that list.
Fletcher's getting there too.
Yeah, Fletcher. He's got to
put a little more into it, but he's getting there too.
Yeah, GOA does deserve the trios titles, Maria. And you know what? I did see all your stuff about ESPN and the Jags. That was a great game last night. But we don't have time to talk football again. Let's move on. Next up, we had a backstage interview with the Don Callis family, led by that carny piece of shit. So Renee asked him about all the strategizing, the strategery for so many members of the family. And Don says that they're so much smarter and better than everyone else, so they don't really have to do a lot of strategizing. Renee then asked him about Kyle versus Kyle 2. And Don says O'Reilly is such a mark that he named himself after Fletcher.
You could see the guys trying not to laugh. And it was such a stupid, fun, good line.
It was great. Renee then moves on to the Double Jeopardy Eliminator match, which I will explain the rules of later. And Don says it won't be a problem as neither one of Brodido would get that title match with a win because, as Rocky Romero says to us, Hechicero ripped out Bandido's arm from its socket on Friday in Arena, Mexico, and he called him the uncrowned Ring of Honor champion. Don then says that Okada and Takeshita are going to work together underneath the banner of the Don Callis family, get the win, And then the family were rolling to Wrestle Dream where they'll win all the tag titles and once again hold all of the gold. That led into our next match, which saw Jurassic Express against, I don't know.
Enhancement talent.
Local talent.
Yep, Excalibur called one of them Orion and never said the name of the other guy because he never got tagged in. He just ate a boot to the face from Luchasaurus, and that's all he did for the whole match. So some notes from the match, I guess, though. Interestingly, that Jack is wearing his knife sheath when he wrestles, which I thought was cool. No knife, but it's there. And as mentioned before, the Young Bucks did have tickets. They were up on the stage, but they couldn't get two seats together, so they had a couple little kids sitting.
They had the highest seats that they could get, not sitting together. And let me just ask, why did they need seats? Why couldn't they just be ringside?
Because it's funny.
Of course it is. But what's funny about it is they're that dumb. Like, that's the beauty of it. They're dumb. Oh, yeah, this good shit.
Yeah, they can literally just be at ringside. People do that all the time. But they're like, no, Matt had to buy tickets. Maybe just because they got fired as EVPs, like, no one's letting them actually do anything.
Yeah.
Because they're just being assholes.
You stay in catering.
It was so well done.
Well, the reason they went up there is, just to the end of the match, countdown to extinction. I forgot they did that. That rules.
Yeah, great move. Great move.
But after the match, the Bucks snuck down to the ring and through the ramp and attacked Perry before hitting him into the barricade before going after Luchasaurus. Both guys jumped right into choke slams, but double dick kick got them out of it. And then they hit Luchasaurus with the BTE trigger. Then the Bucks laid out Perry with a couple of super kicks. Nick grabbed the mic and said, in the professional wrestling business, Jack, we refer to this as a callback. And he just absolutely brained Jack with the microphone. And then Nick challenged them to a match at Wrestle Dream before the Bucks hit Perry with the TK driver. Obviously, all a flashback to when Jack and the Bucks attacked Tony Khan. Yeah. This match later got official for Wrestle Dream, and Tony made it a $500,000 match. Yeah. So Nick got both of his wishes. He got his money match, and he got his match against Jurassic Express. James, obviously, very quick enhanced match just to bring them back, but I know it worked. We got our match.
Yeah. Well, most importantly, I think the entire internet owes JR a really big apology. He wasn't wrong. He was just early. Jungle Jack is exactly what he needs to be.
Yep.
We don't need to play into the Jungle Boy thing. It's part of the nickname. It's part of, his lineage, his journey. Jungle Jack is the perfect name for him. And like I said, people owe JR an apology. He called that one years ago. And his reasoning was perfect. So just well done there, JR. Yeah. It was fine. I laughed a little bit because it's like, did Jurassic Express just not think the Bucks were going to do anything? Like, they knew they were there, and they just kind of like, we're going to pay attention to everywhere but their direction.
They couldn't see them all the arms waving.
Yeah, exactly. Had to be. Had to be. One of my all-time favorite AEW memories is Kenny versus when Kenny was sort of feuding with Jurassic Express because it was Christian, and he stops the audience and he's like, "Are you saying no, no, or whoa, whoa?" And
I was saying whoa. I can't even get through.
And when they interacted last week, it teleported me back to it, and it was great. So all this group needs now, all this team needs is Marco Stunt to run around and floss for them, and it's perfect.
Whatever the new dance craze is.
Yeah.
But I love Marco. Would he fit this new version? Yeah. I mean, I like Taz called him at one point a man and his monster instead of a boy and his dinosaur.
They have merch for it too. I agree. They don't need him. In fact, more likely him being with them would probably hurt them. But I wouldn't be opposed to him being incorporated into a storyline or something.
Even a trios title match, you know?
Yeah, like the next time they're in Jacksonville, I'd be fine with that. I don't need them to. I was mostly being facetious about Marco coming back, especially when he's retired.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's mostly I would just like to see him incorporated because I feel like he never got a proper send off. He had that one return against
the collision
Jack,
return
and
against Jack.
and then he had that moment with Luchasaurus. But I would like a proper goodbye where they're all on good terms.
Why did he retire? Did he say?
His body just can't handle it. He's hurt.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
Wishing him the best.
Yeah, good call. Matt, did you have anything else on this? Or
Oh, no, I think James, I did see it. But yeah, James was hit the nail on the head and no further.
No notes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Moving on then. Next up, we had a backstage promo from the Death Riders. Pac starts off by calling out, and I quote, tangerine balls, saying that Orange might think this is personal, but it's not. He's just looking for a snack to warm up with upon his return. So he's going to do what he always does, which is undercut Orange and then beat him before the Death Riders move on to bigger things. Yuta then gets in there saying that he has a lot of history with Orange, which is why tonight is going to hurt him almost as much as it hurts Orange. But in order for the Death Riders to continue to remake AEW in their image, they need to trim the fat and separate the winners from the losers. And then Garcia jumps in. It kind of cuts Wheeler off.
Yep.
And Wheeler had a twinge of annoyance on his face. And he says that being a winner or a loser isn't about wins and losses or getting pinned. It's a mentality. And he sees a lot of losers in AEW. Winning is a choice, something you need to wake up every day and decide to do, which is what the Death Riders do every day and why they're going to keep winning every week. And this was what I was kind of alluding to earlier with Wheeler, where he's already kind of starting to get annoyed with Garcia. It's very subtle, but I think that's something that's going to come up sooner than
Well, they
later.
have a storied rivalry, so it makes sense.
Yeah, but it's also, Garcia's the new golden child after Yuta was, supposed to be Moxley's guy. And especially if Yuta starts losing a bunch and Garcia starts winning a bunch, you can kind of see how things might not go well. But we'll see how they play that out. It's definitely coming at some point, though.
Yeah.
Following that, we went back to the ring for the TNT Championship match between Kyle Fletcher and Kyle O'Reilly. Oh, the Kyle chants were back. That carny piece of shit Don Callis was also back. He was on commentary. To jump to the end of this match, after escaping a toe hold from O'Reilly, Fletcher was able to hit a brainbuster, and then he got his ankle to recover a bit. And as he was doing so, O'Reilly had stumbled into the corner. Fletcher hit a Luva kick, and then he followed it up with another brainbuster and was able to win and defend his championship. After the match, Fletcher called down the family, and Archer, who was at the table with Don, got there first and set up O'Reilly for a chokeslam. However, Roderick Strong, who actually decided to run out there this week, and Tomohiro Ishii came down, and then that was followed by Rocky Romero. So we had pretty even odds until Mark Briscoe's music hit, because he's too cool to just run down. And he went down, low-bridged Archer out of the ring before beating up Rocky a bit and sending him out as well. Briscoe then caught Archer trying to sucker punch him, and the two stars stared each other down before Fletcher decided to back out of the ring and join Don on the ramp. So, James, this match was very good. O'Reilly always just wrestles great technical matches, but he was really throwing his body around in this one as well. And obviously, Fletcher continues to improve every time he's in the ring and just continues to look like $1 million as, once again, he defends his TNT championship.
Yeah. No, I enjoy, very hard hitting. These are the matches that these guys need to keep having. These are the matches that Fletcher needs to have to continue to grow and to continue to develop as a star. I do need to confess something. I had a hey ew moment where I didn't understand why Kyle thought he was being called Kyle 2. And then I realized it's just because he saw the graphic and he's on top of the Kyle, like it's Kyle versus Kyle 2 but then he's on the side of Kyle too. So he thinks he's being called Kyle too. And I loved it. And either he's an idiot or I'm an idiot, or we're
it's
both
a little
idiots.
more. If you didn't see the poster, which I didn't, so I kind of missed that. That's very subtle.
Yeah.
So
it's perfect. But
it's
he
not a
was
full-blown
complaining
hate
about
ill
it.
moment.
He complained about it in a promo. He was like, I don't know why I'm Kyle too. I'm older than him. I was born in the 80s. And I'm like, why is he being called Kyle too? And then I realized nobody's calling him Kyle too. It's the fucking poster, and he just misinterpreted it. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff.
His Kyle O'Reilly's character basically becoming like a dumb but loyal puppy lately has been so fucking funny.
Amazing. It's amazing because he's a killer, but he's a lovable one. I've been thinking about it more and more. I really need him to win a title in AEW because Roddy won one, Cole won one. He needs to win something. I don't know what because things are a little, competitive in the title scenes, but I would love for him to win something, whether it's a tag title with Roddy or, God willing, Adam can come back at some point and they go for the trios titles. Something.
I wouldn't mind. It's some people might say it's a waste, but Kyle's always been one of my favorites, and not just because he's a fellow type 1 diabetic, but the Owen Hart tournament. Have him win that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. The only problem is winning the Owen Hart means you go to the main event of All In. And
I know.
He ain't going to the main event of All In.
It just if things align, he really is. He's had the neck issues, and he had the issues in NXT of like, oh, we're not going to do what we were doing for so long. We're going to do 2.0 and have it all be splashy colors, and everyone's going to be hot and sexy, and you don't really fit in anymore.
I think just to kind of go off of what you said, I'd rather see him in the Continental Classic and go to the final Continental Classic.
Yes.
Then go for the Owen.
I forgot about that one. That one makes more sense.
And I think the unified title is a little above his station, but I think you could easily heat him up to get there.
Yeah, that seems like his ceiling, I would think. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't like to see him with the AEW Men's World Championship, but realistically, that is a very crowded spot.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. All of them are. Yeah. Like I don't buy him. I never bought him beating Kyle Fletcher for the TNT title. I can't see him beating Okada for the unified title right now. So
right now.
Yeah. But I know he could be heated up. It's just, are they going to do it?
Still one of my favorites, and I did not mean to. I was not insinuating that Kyle O'Reilly is not hot nor sexy, but like he's not getting hired.
We all heard what you implied.
I'm just saying he's hired because of his very, very strong wrestling style, and he's in very good shape. And he's not a bad looking fellow either. But no one's hiring him because they think he's going to be the next Gorgeous George or something. I don't know.
All I'm saying is that man wears the hell out of a denim jacket. So
it's true.
I will not accept slander here.
I was laughing not because Matt was implying that Kyle wasn't hot and sexy. Just the fact that you called NXT 2.0 hot and sexy got a pop out of me.
Have you seen? You remember some of those commercials?
Yes,
it's
I do.
Maybe you'll get to see something like maybe some sex scene will happen. I'm like, that's not happening. Why are you trying to sell me sex? It's you just got really bad wrestlers that look good.
Hey, okay, let's not.
They're not all like that. I'm just saying that was definitely the move that they were making.
He was right, which is why I was laughing so hard. And also, how old are we with a Gorgeous George reference?
I couldn't think of anyone that was like super attractive, and I'm like, that you don't even need to know who Gorgeous George is. The name is what it is.
I know. No, it worked beautifully. It was Meltzer-esque going back that deep in the archives. Before we get into Kyle's interview, I just wanted to hop into a couple of comments. Maria calling this TNT championship amazing, saying that Fletcher looks better week after week, which I agree with both of those things. And then a couple of comments going back to Wheeler Yuta, Maria's saying, I think she's been saying this for a while, so we're on the same page here, where he's getting kicked out of the Death Riders. It's saying he is the teacher's pet no more. Maybe he gets beat down by the Death Riders, and then who happened to be, Brian's on commentary, and we'll see what happens there.
Plastic bag, yeah.
Maybe. After we got back from commercial following the match, we went backstage with Renee, who was getting a word with Fletcher. And she asks him why he backed down for Mark Briscoe. And he was like, well, Briscoe came down to take advantage of me after a hard-fought match. I'm not afraid of him. Let me remind you, Renee, that I've beaten him twice before. And Renee politely reminds Kyle that Briscoe has also beaten him twice, and then informs him that Tony Khan has made a match official for Wrestle Dream, where it will be Fletcher versus Briscoe for the TNT Championship. And then Kyle is both simultaneously pissed and at a loss for words. Don whispers something in his ear and kind of calms it down, and then he ushers him away. He's like, well, it'll be fine, and he ushers him away. So finally, Mark gets his match.
Renee not beating the heel allegations. That's all I'm saying.
I would love at one point Don has to take a week off and like his entire crew is like backstage in like a similar segment that they had earlier, but they're like fumbling, bumping into each other, talking over each other, and they just seem completely lost without Don. That would be funny to me.
Don comes back like Donald Glover in Community, and everything's on fire. Yeah.
Yes.
That seems like the week they should split up Okada and Takeshita.
Yeah.
Although, let's be real here. Oh, no, it's not going to happen at the pay-per-view. But something's going to happen. We'll talk about that.
Well, they're not going to win the pay-per-view. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah.
In the meantime, though, our next match saw Mercedes Moné's TBS Championship Open Challenge, and that led to the debut of one Lacey Lane, a.k.a. Kaden Carter from NXT, making her her TBS debut, but her AEW debut. I actually didn't know much about her. I knew who she was, but I kind of fell through the cracks of my TNT watching. But she had a great showing here tonight. To jump to the end of the match, though, after Mercedes barely kicked out of two big moves from Lane, which included a hammerlock flatliner and then some sort of like twisting leg drop, which looked really cool.
From the springboard, right?
Yeah.
She
did a couple things like that.
Yeah, that was one of her regular moves. And
she also, I think the one after that initial hammerlock flatliner though was like she had Mercedes and then she almost like went up and like did a head scissors and landed into a leg drop. It was something cool like that. Either way, Lacey went for the hammerlock flatliner again. However, Moné was able to counter this one and went for a roll up, pulling on the tights. She pulled too hard. Lane was able to reverse into a roll up of her own, but Mercedes rolled through again, and that forced Lane to kick out. Mercedes then quickly just grabbed her, got Lane up on her back, and hit the Moné maker, and kept Lane down for the 1-2-3 and the win. Matt, this was a good match. Like I said, I thought it was a very good debut for Lane. This felt very old school AEW once again with the open challenge, somebody, a new arrival of coming down to Jacksonville, which is always cool. They gave her a cool promo package beforehand to kind of help introduce her. So I thought Lane had a great debut. I liked the match. I wish there was a little more pop and circumstance to the back end of it. But other than that, I thought it was a very good showing for both women.
Yeah, the ending with the roll-ups, they messed up. I think the third roll-up did not look good. But the rest of the match did look good, and the money maker, the Moné maker at the end was solid. So that's the most important part. Good for Lacey. I do wonder, like, are her and Casey? When we've talked about them in WWE, I would always mix up their names with like the real names, their fake names. Like one of them's from Mortal Kombat. It's like I don't know what was going on. Did someone want to tell me who was who again? Or no?
It's Kaden Carter, who this one is Lacey Lane, who teamed up with
Kaden Catanzaro.
Yeah, who became Katana Chance.
Yeah. I do wonder, like, this was a really good match and, like, a great debut for her. I do wonder, would they have been better off holding off and saving her and Kaden Catanzaro for the tag title tournament or however they're doing the tag titles, Like, are they on good terms? Are they still willing to work together? Because we just saw them at WrestleCon together
So
last month.
AEW did this in the past too, where when they were bringing in the members of Undisputed Era, or now Paragon, they did it in drips and drabs. They had Bobby Fish come in first, then Kyle O'Reilly, and then they had Cole come in.
Right. And then Roddy much later because he was under contract the longest.
Yeah, he was still with NXT, yeah.
Yeah. And I understand your point about maybe waiting to have debuted them or just have them be a team for the tag team tournament. But Rev is the reason why you can't do that, because he said it. I know who she was. I'm familiar with her. Like, I knew she had a run in WWE, but he wasn't really familiar with her. He doesn't know.
He called her NXT when she was she had already debuted on the main roster, my friend.
Shame.
Well, I know her mostly from her NXT stuff.
But point being, we can't assume that people are going to know who they are going into this tournament. They were a mismanaged team on the main roster. They had a good run in NXT, a good enough run in NXT.
I think they were the longest reigning NXT women's champions, so I would say better than good enough.
That's great for a title that doesn't even exist anymore.
Well said.
So I think to introduce them as singles, like, I would not be surprised if Casey Catanzaro has a match on Collision or Dynamite very soon. And then when the tournament bracket is revealed, here they are as a team.
All right, I dig it. Well said.
I mean, you could even, depending on our schedule, you could keep Casey for the tournament, but same thing, we don't know when this tournament's going to happen.
Yeah.
All we know is that it is.
Yeah.
So it could be another couple of months, and depending on if she is going to AEW. And we're also assuming Lacey's staying. I mean, I don't know if she got an All Elite graphic. I didn't see it. If anyone did, please let us know in the comments. But it could have been a one-off, and she might stay. It might just be, a little wild thing. Who knows? We've seen one-offs in AEW before, and they've been very cool.
It's true. I do got to give her some love because I feel bad. So many people had so many guesses as to who was going to be this mystery challenger. And she was not in the top 3 picks for it. Like, there were a lot of, this is going to be the return of Sheeta. There were a lot of, I mean, why wouldn't you?
It's not that. So the look wasn't the return of Sheeta. Mercedes specified it had to be somebody from Florida. Last I checked, Sheeta's not from Florida.
Where does she live, though?
Not Florida. I don't know where she lives in the States.
I feel like Izzy might have been one of the someone I was thinking.
Izzy was the biggest one, and quite frankly, I'm glad they didn't do it. Izzy was the biggest one. Dakota Kai was another big one that so many people were predicting.
I would have freaked out if it was Dakota, just because I love her. Not that I don't like Lacey Lane. I really do actually like her a lot, but Dakota is one of my favorites.
Yeah, Dakota's great.
There were a lot of guesses. And I'm sure people were somewhat disappointed when she was announced, but I think that match should have erased any of those negative feelings.
Yeah, they delivered. It was, like I said, I think the only smudge on that match was like the one roll up towards the end. And again, it wasn't the final spot of the match. So, no harm, no foul. Really good match, worth watching if you missed it, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wasn't even entirely sure if they messed that up or Aubrey just missed the shoulders. Either way,
it was. They were doing the back and forth, and one of the ones Mercedes got was not good, and like she had to basically like grab her tights again, but directly in front of Aubrey Edwards. So it was one small sloppy spot in an otherwise really, really good match worth watching.
And the biggest botch of the night does not belong to AEW. It was in NXT tonight, so.
Well, that's a different show.
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of both shows, so I didn't see any huge botches in NXT. But tell me after or we can say it at the end. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it rolling. After this, we had some backstage promos from both LFI and Eddie Kingston with their feud. I had Sammy Guevara talking for the Peace Muertos, saying that Eddie didn't win his match against Jurassico last week. He just survived. Now this week he has to go against LFI's Beast in the Beast Mortos, and he won't make it out alive. Eddie with Hook then responded that he'll beat Jurassico. He beat Jurassico's ass last week because of Sammy running his mouth, and now he's going to do it again with Mortos. And he thinks these guys should really stop having Sammy talk for them because he's just going to keep kicking their ass.
Yeah.
That led into our next match, which saw Brodido face off against Konosuke Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada in this double Jeopardy Eliminator match. So here are the stakes. If Okada and Takeshita win, then they get a tag title shot at Wrestle Dream. If Brodido wins, whoever gets the pinfall goes on to face Okada for the AEW Unified Championship, even if they don't pin Okada himself. So if Bandido gets the pinfall and the win, he goes on. Same thing for Brody. Everyone got that?
Yes.
Good.
I don't like it because then you got Brodido fighting the whole time, like essentially, like
It didn't come up. Maybe it might have come up on Collision, but it didn't
I'm saying
come up
theoretically, though. Theoretically,
I think if they were a heel team, you would see that. But they've established that Brody and Bandido are very, very solid and very supportive of the other. So I get what you're saying, Matt, but this was not the team that they were going to do that with right now.
I mean, there was one point in the match Brody tagged himself out so Bandido could come in and he could try to get the win. Like it was definitely something that did not come up between them during the match, which I liked.
Yeah.
The one thing else I liked was that during the entrances, Okada's music hit before Justin Roberts could finish announcing Takeshita. So Takeshita was annoyed already going in. We also had Don back on commentary. And again, Bandido's shoulder heavily taped up following that attack from Hechicero the other week. Anyway, towards the end of the match, after Takeshita, I don't know, he took out Brody. He Germaned him after almost screwing it up because Brody is that big. And then hit him with a blue thunder bomb. How?
I love that German because one, the physics of it on a normal sized person are hard to wrap your head around. But beyond it just being impressive, Don on commentary was saying, I don't think he's going to be able to do it. And then he does it right then and there. He's impressing the guy who is no longer really fully backing him anymore. I thought that was such a small but awesome detail.
Yeah, Don is biased, but he will call action almost like down the middle. Like he'll be like, "Wow, that was impressive from this guy." Still an asshole, but he's very good at it.
He is, but I took it more as he doesn't see Takeshita as his golden goose anymore. He sees Okada as his golden goose. There wouldn't be any doubt of Okada doing anything, but he doubted Takeshita for a second. And I thought that was a very subtle but well done bit of commentary.
But we also saw Takeshita struggling. And that was what my favorite thing in wrestling is when you see something real, like when it's like, I didn't get him the first time, but like, let me readjust and just like fucking plant my feet and, hold my breath and just, push through this immense feat of strength. And that's what Takeshita did. And it's just like, that's what I love. And when it's just like, so you see the human side, but you see the perseverance and it's just still so unbelievable. And it's amazing. And then the cherry on top was the commentary on Don in that moment that James mentioned.
Yeah.
He is one of the best. I'm glad he's not on commentary all the time, but he is truly one of them.
He's a treat. Yeah, he's a nice treat.
Yeah.
Following those big moves, Okada was on the apron and he had grabbed Bandido. So Takeshita went over and tried to hit a big knee onto Bandido, but Bandido jumped out of the way and Takeshita laid out Okada. So he's on the outside, leaving Bandido and Takeshita one-on-one. Takeshita goes after him. Bandido counters, and he somehow, with one arm, gets Takeshita up on his shoulders and hits the X-Snake, which is nuts. It just looked nuts because he did it with one arm.
Yeah, insane.
He then tried to go for the 21-plex as Takeshita got himself up in the ropes, but his shoulder gave out and Bandido was unable to capitalize. Takeshita then hit a big knee, but before he could follow up, Okada tagged himself in. Takeshita's like, what the hell? But sees Brody getting up onto the apron to attempt to make a tag. So he goes over and takes Brody out as Okada hits the Rainmaker and pins Bandido for the win. After the match, Takeshita is furious, and he starts shoving Okada, and Okada just ignores him and walks to the back.
Yep.
So, James, I know you said the street fight was your favorite match of the night. It's up there for me. This one is right there with it. This match,
it's
rocked. These guys, it's another one of those AEW things where these dudes are all so talented that there's no way they could have a bad match, and they ended up having a really, really good one. I love the storytelling with Bandido's arm, with Brody, with Takeshita and Okada and their rivalry. Great storytelling, great wrestling.
Yeah.
Takeshita continues to be the man. Bandido continues to be one of the best wrestlers of the year.
Yeah.
And we get this story continuing into Wrestle Dream now as Okada and Takeshita get tag title shots.
100%. I am going to say something super controversial. I want Okada and Takeshita to win the tag titles.
I don't hate it. I hate it after they just beat the tag champs. That's what I don't like. You know what I mean?
I get it to an extent, but you're really you have a good excuse here where you're building off the fact that Bandido is hurt. And these are two guys in Okada and Takeshita who are not an established tag team. So they shouldn't be able to just get a title shot and walk in. So I don't mind the Eliminator in this instance. I think Eliminators can work depending on the context, and I think the context of this story makes it make sense. I want to dispel one thing because I've been seeing a lot of people on the internet. Bandido is not actually hurt, guys. And if he is hurt, he's not that hurt. He might be banged up a little bit. He might be sore a little bit. There is no way that they would have this guy wrestle twice if he's got a truly either separated shoulder or dislocated shoulder or whatever it may be. He's fine.
There's hurt or injured. Everyone in wrestling is usually hurt.
Exactly.
If you're injured, then you're on the shelf.
Exactly. Or you're just Kenny Omega and don't show up. The match was great. I totally understand, Rev, why this is your match of the night. It's my number 2 right behind.
They're neck and neck.
Yeah, absolutely. Different strokes for different blokes. I really enjoyed this. The finish kind of stumbled a little bit for me because
I saw it.
Yeah. Takeshita's timing and Okada's timing wasn't perfect for that blind tag. And Takeshita was setting up for the knee, had to stop himself so Okada could go and get the tag on him. It's not enough to ruin the match for me. It's not enough to take me out of the match even. But I noticed it and I was like, oh, damn, that sucks that they couldn't get it out the gate.
Yeah, it annoyed me more than what we talked about the last match with the roll-up sequence. Like, yeah, I noticed it too, but this was still my match of the night as well. So two against one here, James. Yeah. Like you said, different strokes for different folks.
And I love Brody. I know we're going to talk about the after promo, I'm sure, in a minute.
Yeah, it's that.
But I've really come to love Brodido as a team. I don't think they need to be long for this world for them to still be a very special and appreciated team. But I am kind of all in on Okada and Takeshita taking the tag titles, having a very quick run with the belts where they just cannot coexist. And that allows another babyface team to come in and take it off of them.
Outrunners!
I think the internet would fucking explode if the Outrunners took the tag titles.
Outrunners are in a trio right now with one Dalton Castle. So, But yeah, I think James is right. If the Outrunners pin Takeshita or Okada, the internet might melt down.
Matt, not to get into your head too much, not to get into your business. If there is any wrestler that you actually have great facial structure comparatively to, it is Dalton Castle, and I think you would do a hell of a cosplay with Dalton Castle.
All right.
Just saying.
I do have a shiny cape. All right.
It's all about the Benson Boone bodysuit. That's really
Noted.
what
He's the number one guy, and Jay Lethal is the number two of guys that like were loyal to Ring of Honor that I wish had moved on before.
He couldn't though. That was the difference. Jay absolutely could have at any point.
What was with Dalton? He was under contract?
He was so hurt.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like he has physically gotten better, but it's like the Darth Vader thing. It doesn't matter how good he is right now. We know he's so hurt that he's not reaching his full potential.
Gotcha. I was not aware.
Yeah. His back is shot.
Yeah.
But
one sympathizes.
Yeah, so him being in Ring of Honor was almost like that's the place where he could still thrive a little bit. And,
gotcha.
Yeah. But I agree. I would have loved to have seen Dalton in AEW early days.
Or NXT before AEW. I think he would have been perfect for the golden, the golden black, the black and gold.
Him versus Tyler Breeze.
Oh God, yeah.
What'd you say?
Him versus Tyler Breeze, or even him versus like all version of Fandango,
or Velveteen Dream at the time.
Yeah, at the time, like spade to spade. Yes, I get how that would have been an appealing match. Yeah, Dalton would have been amazing in that era of NXT.
Shirts I can no longer wear for $400, Alex.
Yeah, I get it. It's unfortunate.
Shame.
Thanks, Marty Skrull. But yeah. Anyway,
you can wear those shirts in Mexico. Just I wouldn't take pictures with them.
I'm good. I'm good. You're technically right, which is the best kind of right. But I'm good.
They're also Bullet Club shirts, so you know that's you got that going for you too.
It doesn't swing when I've got like every Bullet Club shirt that has ever been made from that era. Like I'm not rocking my Chase Owens shirt. Sorry guys. Yeah. Do I have it? Yeah, I ain't wearing it.
What happened with him?
Oh, he's a creep too.
We don't have the time.
Yeah, we don't.
Tell me after the pod.
Yeah.
To get back to the tag match though, James, I think you have a very good argument about Okada and Takeshita winning the tag titles because them bringing the gold back to the Don Callis family and then eventually losing it could be the thing that officially has Don drive Takeshita out of the family, especially if Takeshita is the one who ends up beating the pin for them to lose.
Or causes the loss.
Yeah, or something like that. So I could see that happening. And I could also see them winning because, and I talk about this every week, I don't think they want either the unified champion to lose, and I don't think they want to piss off New Japan by having the G1 Climax winner lose before he gets his title shot.
Well, I mean, at this point, like, Jesus. Takeshita's match is, I think, next week.
Okay, so then they're probably fine.
Yeah.
But then,
I will
if
say
it is next week, and he doesn't win, and then he gets pinned at Wrestle Dream, then they could just do the breakup there.
Yeah. I will say the visual of Okada holding the unified title, Takeshita holding the IWGP title, and then both holding the AEW tag titles. That gets my nips hard a little bit. Not gonna lie.
I say we do that, and then when Takeshita loses the IWGP, then they can lose the tag titles. Then we get the breakup.
And I'm telling you, this ends with Okada winning the fucking IWGP World Championship. I'm telling you, this is how this ends.
How many times has he won it already? Was 5 times?
I don't even know how many he's held it for. 5 might be the number. His record is for like the most defenses and the longest reign. That's what's like his thing is. Like,
the longest
and losing to the biggest loser of all time, Evil.
Did he lose it? Did Okada lose it to Evil?
I don't remember.
No,
I just remember Evil became the champ during pandemic, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but we can blame that on Naito and his knees. That wasn't Okada. But
Okada has the longest single reign or the most days as champion.
I think it might be both.
Wouldn't surprise.
I think it might be both. But
and put a cherry on top of all that. After he wins it, he has to defend it against Jonah, who for some reason is inexplicably not in WWE anymore.
Yeah.
Or it'd be better if he had to defend it against Tanahashi. But just to close the loop on this whole Brodido
Yeah, let's wrap up,
situation.
please.
We had a backstage interview following the match after a couple of things, which I'll run through really quick after this. But Renee asked Bandido about not being 100%, and he says he doesn't want to make excuses. It's not Brody's fault. He says the loss is on him. Brody's like, no, it's not your fault. You're always the one who says fight through the pain and through the losses. So we'll heal you up. And then even though they're facing two great wrestlers at Wrestle Dream, they have the best wrestler walking the planet today on their side, and they'll retain their championships. Brody does have an argument there.
Yeah.
The other quick two things we had a run through was some stuff with the Jet Speed, Willow Nightingale, FTR, Megan Bayne feud. So we start with Willow and Jet Speed. Renee asked him about their mixed trios match on Saturday. Speedball says it blows his mind that two people who call themselves the best tag team in the world could attempt to justify their despicable actions, which is why Jet Speed will always be there to defend good people like Willow. Knight talks some shit about him beating Dax on Collision before Willow laughs at FTR's quote-unquote surprise, especially since it was two surprises in Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. But this Saturday, it'll be 3-on-3 in the ring. They can have whomever they want at ringside, whether it's Penelope or that little dweeb, what's his name? And Knight reminds us it's Stokely. Thank you, Kevin. And he goes on to say that Stokely should head back over to the Baby Gap, get some more tracksuits, and be there on Saturday. And then Willow finishes things up with top guys down, Jet Speed babes up. Or, as we used to say, fuck the revival.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere Cody, a tear came down.
Yeah. We then came back to commercial from the response from FTR and Stokely, with Big Stoke saying he has a small amount of respect for Jet Speed because they're willing to step in the ring with the best tag team of all time. But the person he has no respect for is Willow, and he says that Dax would have beaten Knight if it wasn't for her. He then says that everyone makes fun of him for not getting any hoes, but who needs hoes when you have two bad bitches who want to take Willow out? Bayne and Ford then step in, with Penelope saying that they are the perfect combination of beauty and power. Megan says that Willow will always be below her in any universe they're in. Stokely closes things up by hyping up Dax, Cash, Penelope, and Bayne, saying they're going to take out Jet Speed and Willow on Saturday. And he attempts to say top guys out, but Bayne cuts him off, and she says top gods out.
Nice.
And then we had the Brodido interview, then the main event, and that, kids, was Dynamite.
Yeah.
This being a homecoming, them being back in Daly's place was always great and very nostalgic. Matt, I thought we had a fairly nostalgic episode, and a lot like we did last week. I think we really only had one in-ring promo, and it was to start the show. Everything else was either a match or backstage. So it was a lot of wrestling tonight. It was a lot of very good wrestling tonight. I think highlighted by the street fight and that tag match later in the show. So I had a lot of fun watching this. They're killing me with these hours right now.
Yeah, it's
3
rough.
hours a couple of weeks ago, an hour and a half this week. I think it was an hour and a half last week. I got another 3 hours next week. But at least they're making it worth my while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we had NXT tonight as well. So I was hopping back and forth. I think I enjoyed AEW more. I wish I'd seen the Hardys match on NXT. It's funny
That's the match that had the big botch.
Oh, it had a big botch, huh?
It's not
Whose
like
fault?
it's not a huge botch. Like, I don't want to paint it as this like egregious thing.
Was it
but,
the
like,
finish?
No. It was a sequence where Dark State had like the Hardys down, and they were going for like a running move and then an elbow drop, and they missed both.
Wow.
Like he hits the elbow drop right on the mat. Doesn't even touch Jeff.
Wow.
Yeah,
All I'll say is it's funny. We complained about the NXT TNA partnership. This is the second time Dark State's gotten had to take the L for WWE. But back to AEW, we'll talk about NXT some other time. Yeah, solid episode. I like what I saw. Really cool stuff across the board. Very happy for Kevin Knight that he's in the AEW. I know he's been there for a minute already, but I think of like young black talent. My standouts in my mind are him and Leon Slater in TNA. Sorry to go back to TNA, guys. He was on NXT tonight too.
Well,
I saw him. He wrestled.
I agree. The two of them, Javon Evans from NXT. A lot of talented young kids out there right now.
Yeah. But it's just funny because covering in the beginning of this year on the pod, we were at J Cup, and Kevin Knight and Leon Slater were in that tournament. So just crazy the progress everyone's making, including ourselves. I'll let you guys take it away and mention Comic-Con.
We'll get to that in a minute. But James, what'd you think of tonight?
I thought this was a very strong show. It's the penultimate episode before the pay-per-view. What pay-per-view do we have next Saturday?
Wrestle Dream.
Wrestle Dream. Thank you. Penultimate episode before Wrestle Dream. I thought they got a lot in for a show called Title Tuesday. To have only one title match is a little weak, in my opinion.
Two?
What was the other one? It was
a TBS and TNT.
TNT. All right, yeah, you're right.
And then technically you had the double Jeopardy.
Yeah, the Eliminator.
It wasn't a title match, but it was to get a title match.
Title implications.
Yeah. Overall, really fun episode. Some really good wrestling. And I think we're very close to having a good show at Wrestle Dream.
Yeah, no, that card's starting to come together and starting to look stacked. I'm sure we'll probably get a little bit more for it on Collision, and then they got to fill out the rest of it on Dynamite / Collision next week. So I'm sure we'll get plenty more there. But I'm looking forward to that card. There's a lot of good matches on it already. The Bucks versus Jurassic Express is going to be a real nice throwback to the good old days. So that should be a lot of fun. And I think we're going to get a good pay-per-view.
I think so too. All right, before we close out, we did have a bunch of comments that we were kind of just running through. Loved the Dragon tag. He thought that was really funny during the tag match at the end, which Maria called excellence. Yeah. It says in Japanese culture, being ignored is more of a disrespect thing than it is in the West. I want to make a James Bond / Austin Powers reference, but we don't have time. Fernando says Takeshita Okada is going to be fire. It is going to absolutely slap. Maria agrees with James that they should win the tag titles. She says Bandido is losing his confidence and kayfabe with the injury, perhaps. She also says Willow is awesome, and she wants Willow versus Megan Bayne really bad. We kind of had that, I think. We've had some teases of it. We'll get another tease on Saturday. So you got that. She also said congratulations to the Hardys. And just closing out, Top Gods out. And on that note, I would like to thank everybody watching us so much here at the Market Down Podcast. We'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. If you liked the video, let us know that you're enjoying what we're doing here on the show, and we'll continue to do it. And if you subscribe, you can get all the great stuff here on the pod week in and week out. We will be back here next Wednesday to cover all 3 hours of Dynamite and Collision. So be sure to subscribe for that, or I'm going to try to be. We also have the Gym Pack Zone for those of you big fans of Impact. Those are on Thursdays normally. I know James is going to rewrite the whole schedule in a second, but and then we will be here for Wrestle Dream, and we do our best to cover any and all pay-per-views from the majority of the wrestling world. Now, James, you have news for the class. Threefold. One, because I know Matt requested it, I'll put it out there first. New York Comic-Con, everybody. At New York Comic-Con, there will be a wrestling cosplay meetup. What day is that, Matt?
That is Friday at 1:30, I believe. I'll put it on our story right after this as well.
Friday
on Instagram.
Friday at 1:30. Bring your wrestling cosplay. Have fun. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be great interacting with all the wrestling fans at New York Comic-Con. We're finalizing details, so sorry for the vagueness. There will be a giveaway that we're going to hand something out. We'll see. And even if not, have fun there. Friday evening, House of Glory. Again, kind of finalizing the details on that, but we'll probably have some coverage of the event. Big match is going to be the Hardys versus main event, TNA tag titles versus the House of Glory tag titles, title for title. And
now the Hardys are coming in with 2 sets of belts.
Yeah, with the NXT titles too.
What if they let them do that?
We're on the Hardys' next expedition of gold. We're also having Killer Cross versus Matt Cardona at the show. And some fun stuff at that show. So be prepared for some coverage there. And then Sunday is TNA Bound for Glory. Bound for Glory is TNA's WrestleMania, everybody. It is their All-In. It is their biggest show of the year. There are a lot of big matches on this card. I will be covering it because unfortunately I won't be able to go, but it's going to be a fun time. Join me Sunday evening. We're going to have a good time watching it. And yeah, after that, Rev is right. We'll be back on Dynamite on Wednesday. Who knows? Maybe if we're feeling frisky, we'll even try to do Monday Night Raw. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, looking forward. Lots of content coming out. Really appreciate all of you guys sticking with us throughout the journey.
Yes, which again, you subscribe, you get all that content. And since Matt mentioned he'll be posting stuff on the Instagram for the Comic-Con stuff, you want to follow us over on there, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, or Blue Sky. You're here on YouTube. You can check out all the links for those places in the description below. If you're watching us over on Twitter or over on Facebook and you want to follow us in some other plaplaces, I got to try to shrink us so I can see these. So I bumped you guys there for a second. Twitter is at MarketDownPod. Twitter is at MarketDown_pod. Instagram is at MarketDownPod. YouTube.com/MarketDown3665. MarketDownPod.bsky.social for over on Blue Sky. Or just search Marketdown Podcast in any of those social media sites, and we will come up. Anything before we get out of here?
I love you. Bye-bye.
All right. So for Matt Cascone and James Asante, my name is Nick Cummings. Thank you all for watching us here at the Marketdown Podcast. Have a good one, everyone.